From the start, I apologize to all the older members of our community as I know they deem this video unnecessary. However, for me it is important it's out there, especially for the newer members, because many of them don't have the real picture of who I am and how my friendship with the Taygetans has been. As I read recently online, when you stay quiet to maintain peace but feel the weight of unspoken truths, you create an inner conflict. And so I do this as a measure to maintain order within me. I owe it mainly to myself. I will only say this once though, so pay attention. And if you are not interested, turn this video off. There will be more interesting videos in the future. This video is a result of the need to address recent deflection methods used by Mari's channel that, as their defense, chose the road of targeting Robert's and my character, intentions, and the dynamic of our friendship with the Taygetans, knowingly distorting it, all with the goal to distract from the core of the issue presented in my original 3-hour video. What is deflection? Also called ad hominem or red herring. This is when someone responds to an argument by attacking the person rather than addressing the argument itself. It is also called whataboutism, a kind of deflection where the person responds to a claim by saying, "Well, what about something else you did?" even if it's irrelevant. It's a way to divert attention. Like when you report corruption in your boss's office, and he responds by saying, "And you didn't pay your speeding ticket in high school." In a legal context, this would be viewed as irrelevant or prejudicial evidence, and lawyers may object to such tactics in court by saying it is inadmissible or intended to prejudice the jury. Normally, I would not bite the bait. My character and intentions behind my work do not need defending, plus have nothing or not much to do with the issue at hand. Even if it was true that Robert and I were narcissist egomaniacs, we would still have the right and responsibility to share what we find feels wrong with the other channel, which, by the way, it is a deduction we are not alone with, as thousands of people have come out since then, agreeing that something feels off. Are they resentful for losing income as well? Mari's channel handlers stooped to calling us narcissist and exploitative, doing this for fame and money, reusing same arguments used by the older lady as shown in the previous video. And some of you might have bought these obvious deflection attempts that have nothing to do with the original matter. If they were at least true, I would probably ignore it. But when my integrity is attacked with arguments that couldn't be farther from the truth and might confuse the newcomers, I must speak. I will bite, but only this time. It is perfectly fine to want to defend oneself. I would have done it as well. But I would make the appeal to whoever runs Mari's channel, and that applies to ourselves, to always do it with truth, although I am aware I might be expecting too much at this point. Still, my appeal stands. I may be wrong in my analysis of this or that situation, and this applies to any past, present, or future situations, but what I will never do is resort to lying. Our integrity is not tested in comfort, but in conflict. The way you fight matters. A just cause must be defended by just means. One may say truth is relative. That is so, especially with all of us living in our own individual timelines. But I believe some things are more obvious and easier to establish than others. My dog has 4 legs, and I go to sleep at 3 a.m. And this applies, I believe, to whether or not, for example, Robert and I do this for money and fame or not. It's enough to analyze facts to reach the conclusion. Let's look at some of them, and this is mainly for those who don't know me. I have no way of showing that we are not narcissistic or abusive. You would have to know me personally and have had to follow this work for a long time to know. But what I can demonstrate is facts regarding money. So you can determine yourself what my intentions might be and whether, possibly, all the other statements about us could be distorted as a consequence too. Look at them objectively and watch till the end for more important comments. 1. For the first 5 years of duration of my English channel, I kept it totally unmonetized, even when my Taygetan friends already told me to do it. I didn't want to, as it was enough to cover my expenses from Spanish channel monetization and the donations, which I activated few years into Cosmic Agency work. I preferred to keep the English channel free of ads. I started sharing the videos in 2018, and you can see there is no revenue there. There is something there, but I think it was coming from lives. The videos were not monetized. I only began monetization around December 2022, at the time Mari did, as a sign of support, and also because 2. I decided to send half of that monetization to Athena and Yaski, and I have done so monthly for 2 years until January 2005. Why? They needed it, and it is explained in other videos. I never spoke about it in the community. I just wanted to help anonymously. These are some thank you notes from Athena, and I have been receiving them from her all the way till November 2024. Importantly, I also made sure that it was very clear that just because I was sending financial help, in no way did it oblige them to come talk or share anything, unless they wanted to and could. The financial contributions were just to help, no strings attached. And I made sure to never make references to those contributions in our chats. I was never owed anything because of that. I was just glad I could assist my friends. Now, as a further demonstration, the money is the last thing I worry about. Before Mari started accepting donations, I even offered to send them all my monetization. How so? Perhaps you will understand from this conversation I had with Athena in December 2022. During which she consulted with me what I thought about adding donation box to Mari's channel. I am sure you will find this chat interesting. We were considering the possibility of opening a donations box in Mari's channel. Also, we must consider if we tell the people directly or not why the channel is monetized. Another problem is that we think all the people's donations may come towards us, leaving you and Robert without any or too few. That's the least of my worry. My only worry is more credibility factors. There is that too. Let me think. I feel it will affect credibility in some way, and with some people. Some people will fall off the wagon. That's my honest opinion. Even if we explain it super well. The only question now is whether we care or not, because your well-being is more important at this point. Less donations going our way, that didn't occur to me. Not concerned about that, just credibility factor. For me, it's all about making this project work, for the people. It's all that matters to me. And for you to be okay up there. Other factors not relevant. We will be fine. Yes, so we must see that this project suffers the least damage. Although I hate to point out that the project would also be in danger without this critical funding. The problem to solve is also, do we try to hide the fact that Mari's channel is monetized? Or do we tell the people openly why it is? They will notice it. There will be no hiding. Some may not care or stop to think. Others might. It's about making this project suffer less damage and have you eating properly as a priority. I or we do accept the horrible fact that we do depend on stuff only found on Earth to function here, or else we will be immersed again into full Taygetan culture. How about you see how you go with monetizing and my half of English channel monetization first? Maybe it will be enough? I mean, how much do you need? Mari is quite firm with wanting to monetize, and even the Taygetans back her up. Perhaps no donation box there for now. The estimate is realistically above what you can pass on to us, so we do need to sum it with other means. But donations does look very ugly in Mari's channel, so I strongly suggest only to monetize and work hard on the videos. Right, I do agree it would look ugly there. First, monetize the channel. I monetize mine and give you half, and let's see if that helps you. Donations would be like a measure for later on. Ugly as a word on the nose, yes? So, first agreement here, no donation box now, only simple monetization. Yes, I actually, to be fully honest, would prefer to give you all that I get from monetization in the English channel than you accepting donations. Wow, that bad? It would hurt credibility. I would prefer to give you money myself. Okay, I see your point. At my first instinct now, yes, that's how I feel. I just want your reputation intact, no matter how much I know that the ETs do need money. You know it's complicated, too complicated for the average mind. They only see money schemes, but money is survival here. Yes, it is, I know. Maybe we can introduce them slowly to that somehow. Monetizations and donations. They will notice it's monetized and use that against us all. So what's best? Ignore or tell the people? That's why on top of that, if we throw in donation box, it may be too much at once. I think ignore in the beginning and see reactions, then explain. I agree. I wish we didn't have to monetize, but we've been over a year in this situation and it's only getting worse and worse here. Mostly because we depend on mommy and daddy Taygetans, and they want to control everything, including what we eat and what we need from Earth or from wherever. I understand. I don't remember at what point they decided to add donations box to the channel, but we supported that decision when they did. We always supported everything they decided, and I was even going to make a video before my Mongolian trip last month explaining why some ETs need money. I showed this chat above, so you see that my personal gain has never been my goal, but rather the well-being of this project, and theirs, of course. Myself, I never mentioned accepting donations in my videos, perhaps a few times. I always believed, and still do, that whoever wants to find it, they will. Donations are a token of appreciation, and people must never feel they should donate, or else. All our information will always be free. I am not blaming Mari for having included the donation box, and I don't regret helping them financially for 2 years. All I'm showing here is that money is not my end game. Funny, when I decided not to monetize my English channel for the first 5 years, I had a feeling it was for a reason, that I needed to remain pure there. I just didn't expect I would need to refer to that now, being accused of financial greed by someone in the supposed Taygetan team itself. What a twist! But it just additionally proves to us that there is something wrong there, because Athena or Yaski would have never said this. They knew better. We know all about you, Gosia, warts and all, they used to say. But let's continue. 3. All our transcripts are always uploaded to the website right away, so people can read instead of watching. With Mari, it was agreed to upload transcripts with a delay to help her channel gain from monetization. It's perfectly fine. But I am mentioning it because if I wanted to make more money, I would always wait with the upload of the transcripts as well. 4. Transcripts for attaché section, conversations of ex-contactees, uploaded to the website instead of turning them into profitable videos. 5. 44 videos on the non-monetized platform Odyssey.com, with the only goal to have information reach the public, especially during the COVID times. We offered the same for Mari, to help her more sensitive information reach the people through another platform, but it was not considered, which I didn't question much. I always respect their decisions. 6. Space Academy, my new project, opened in late 2024, new, totally non-monetized channels in English, Spanish, and also French to help spread Taygetan and Mari's information. Space Academy videos are very time-consuming and take me away from Cosmic Agency monetized platform, which means my earnings there are even less now. But I am not concerned. Believe it or not, all I ever care about is spreading the knowledge. There are no other interests disguised under the noble cause, as it has been suggested. 7. Lastly, and most importantly, all transcripts with the information shared by our Taygetan friends uploaded to the channel and the website free instead of keeping it to ourselves to make books, exclusive workshops, conference appearances, etc. Never have I or Robert desired to keep any of it to ourselves, or profiting from it, turning it into sellable product. The videos are free. The transcripts are free. We don't share it through paid online courses. We don't sell hats, mugs, or t-shirts. And we could have done so, and still can. We do want to make books with this information at some point to preserve the knowledge in the printed format, and we were going to help Mari with that as well, helping them this way financially too. But we could never get around to it, focused on first sharing what we have for free. About fame, it is enough to look at our website to see who it is that we are focused on, and it is not us. We could have easily added our faces in the big format on the main page as the representatives. And in fact, we have always talked about adding excerpts about Robert and I to the teams section, but we never deemed ourselves important enough. This is not about us, but about Taygetan and Svaru knowledge. The messenger is not the focus, and you will barely see us mentioned on our own website, and with no photos. About Robert, you may not know, but before we both started to share our chats with the Taygetans, he used to upload translations of Cory Good information and many other articles, and during that time, many of those videos were reaching thousands views, all monetized. You can see it for yourself at his channel Despejando Enigmas. When we decided to announce the communication with the Taygetans in 2018, viewing only from the perspective of monetization, he sacrificed it rather than gained anything because his views started dropping, not increasing throughout the years, and with it, the monetization revenues. Despite that, he continued to work arduously to spread this information, for passion. Was it done perfectly? Or was my way perfect? Probably not, even though I always tried. And much could be improved if redone. But to want to darken the essence of our passion towards this project of seeding stellar knowledge on Earth with money and fame interests cannot be coming from anyone positive who truly knows us, and hence it cannot be coming from our original Taygetan friends. I would even go further to state that it cannot be coming from any positive ET group with the self-declared ability to scan auras, telepathically read minds and hearts, listen with drones to our conversations, etc. Lastly, on this topic, let me share a short video one of our subscribers in the Spanish community published recently as a response to the money and fame claims. It will sum up this portion of the video.
Hi friends, I'm Danny. If anyone has seen any of my videos, I don't usually care about the messenger. I care more about the content. That's why I listen to various sources, various content, and from various people, and I have no problem adapting and forming my own cosmogony. And although I would have loved to, I don't know, Robert, Gosia, or anyone personally, but it's true that I've exchanged a couple of emails and WhatsApp messages with Robert. I'm not going to say what I think or feel about this topic or draw conclusions, but I do want to show a specific fact and briefly comment on what I see, in case it's useful to anyone. What I want to show here is a specific fact that everyone will probably see through their own lens, but it's something that hasn't been made public, and I think it may or may not be, I don't know, interesting to some. I've asked Robert and Gosia's explicit permission to show this video to the communities. At the beginning of 2024, a graphic designer friend of mine and I came up with an idea for an economic project. Among other things, we wanted to integrate concepts from Taygetan disclosure. And the idea of this integration was that part of the economic profit generated by this content would go to support the disclosure. Well, we created some graphic designs for various things. I must say they were amazing. We also created designs for Taygetan concepts and of the entire Taygetan team, and we added the faces of Robert and Gosia. I asked Robert for his opinion about this, and he replied to me via WhatsApp in the name of both. It's dated April 24th, 2024. Hi, Danny. First, thank you so much for your enthusiasm and desire to support us. We both appreciate it. However, we don't think it's a good idea to have Gosia's and my names appear on t-shirts, nor our faces, much less our first and last names. We simply share the information offered to us. If anything, it's the website and YouTube channels that should be promoted, not us. We also don't want to do any business with the faces of Pleiadians or Taygetans. This can't be for sale. If it's just your personal project, that's fine. Anyway, thank you so much for your good intentions and support. In parentheses, the designs are very nice, but there's that but. Robert and Gosia.
I hope that what I show above is enough to make you ask. If it's not true that we are in it for fame and money, what else of what is said in Mari's channel about us and in general is not true? If they can distort that part about us, what else is being changed as a defamation deflection strategy? As someone said, justice is not only the goal, it is the path. And a lie cannot be the tool in the path of defense, at least for me. I am not going to spend time on correcting every statement used against our character by the third party who usurped the power to speak for others who are not present. With the example of money shown above, it should be enough to see that something is off. Let me just say this. Some of those claims could have only come from one source, and I uncovered that for you with my last video, and then probably jumped on by others, human or ET. Or from cabal federation levels, copying, pasting same arguments that were already seeded there years ago. The question would only be how long ago the switch happened from "Thank you, loyal friends, Gosia and Robert," Mari's video, July 2024, to us being narcissists, and why. What happened in between then and now that we don't know.
So far, the only two people who have been loving and loyal to us, through thick and thin, are Robert and Gosia from the YouTube channels Despejando Enigmas and Agencia Cosmica, and their alternate channels. Thanks, friends. And I send you a big hug. But I am very thankful to them for their patience, and for being with us in good times and in bad times, and as the years go by. Sending a big hello and a big hug your way, Robert and Gosia.
And something else I must state. I don't know what my friendship with the Svarunians has to do with anything more deflecting, but I will say for the record that it did not suffer any misunderstandings more than ordinary stuff happening between close friends and family. In fact, I have more disagreements with Matthias, my partner, and Robert than I have ever had with them up there. I never made demands, never abused anyone. They didn't either. And we definitely did not make anyone sick. Athena and Yaski would never make such claims, so they cannot be there. As simple as that. Those arguments have been seeded long ago by someone else, as already shown in the last video. Besides, giving this point a little more of probably unnecessary attention, if I get sick from stress, for example, as this work brings so much of it and it is ongoing, it will not be because of my relationship with them and me being used, which is something I could also say if I wanted to sow division. On the contrary, I would never allow anyone to suggest such a thing, as everything I have always done and will continue doing is because of my own self-imposed commitment. No one else can be blamed for what happens to me. That would just be unethical. No one obliges me to make constant videos and lose sleep editing transcripts. No one obliges me to spend 10 hours online daily making sure that what I deliver is of highest quality possible. It is not responsibility of others how much energy I decide to dedicate to this friendship and work. Even though it was suggested, Yaski was telepathically making me want that, since it is her animating others within her mind field, including me. Be it so, I cannot and will not remove the responsibility away from myself, and would never blame the little munchkin for anything that might happen to me as a result of all this. How could I? I can only be grateful and always will be. I do what I do because I want to. Appreciation is the emotion much more worth investing our energy in. The same goes for them. Everything we have always done, we have done it together and because we all wanted to. Everyone is always responsible for their actions and there are no victims. The same as Mari. In Yaski's words back in October 2024, Mari won't stop. She was sick and continues to be. With her diabetes and also with a horrible dangerous lung infection that doesn't let her breathe, with a fever and her arms full of tubes and intravenous. The girl still marches on, as the queen and writing. Why did she? Wasn't it Gosia and Robert supposedly demanding things from poor Taygetans? She did it because she wanted to, and even got upset with people telling her to slow down. She always enjoyed it, even when sick. The same with Svaru back in the day, and Aneka working incessantly to make people aware of the COVID situation, even refusing pod treatments. We simply helped providing the platform and our enthusiasm. It's called teamwork. And sorry to whoever it burns, we were good at it together. I will not respond to any further statements that aim to divide us and our Taygetan friends. I will not allow any intercepting third party to speak for them in their absence, or for me in mine in case that happened, and impose their views and untruths on the community who has no way of knowing better. I know it better, and so do they, my Svarunian friends. No third party should ever speak in subjects regarding our friendship, especially when they don't know us. And I say this because, in fact, Mari, the one we knew, for those who are not aware, has never even spoken to us, just few times in 2021, and has not been here before 2021, the year she arrived. So she has no direct personal reference to know what we are. She doesn't know us. She, the real and or positive one, can only know that from Athena and Yaski, and they, as explained above, would never transmit such claims about us while happily collecting my monthly contribution for 2 years in the meantime, sending hearts and appreciation. How ugly would that be? Unless they were faking the friendship? But then, isn't perhaps the end goal of all this exactly this? To divide us and make us lose trust in what we had? Wouldn't that be precisely something the Matrix would want, so we stop sharing their knowledge? I am actually certain that that's what it is, among other goals. Even Yasky said about a year ago that she feels as if Matrix was trying to separate us. I must find that chat. And so it won't happen. I choose to stand by them, so leave my friendship with Tina and Yasky and all the rest alone. What we feel is happening with Mari's channel has nothing to do with it, so don't get distracted. I choose to have faith in the red ribbons Yasky left at the end of 2024, admitting it was her. I choose to have faith in Athena's last conversation, where she stated she didn't fully trust the new Taygetans. She didn't say it lightly. And I choose to have faith in Yasky's last words. "Why did Matthias leave the server?" said with the emoticon of sad face and heart. That did not come across as coming from someone who was not the friend until the end. Did Yasky and Tina connect less in the last year? Yes, but that is okay, and has not been a problem beyond me wanting to know everything was okay. As I have stated across the years, and to them on tens of occasions, they must always be free and choose to be with us how much and when they wish, with the same freedom applying to us. We all must be free at all times. Absence of contact does not mean absence of care. My respect and love for all the positive Taygetans I have met across the years will not change. I was not just a YouTuber or contactee. They made me feel family, a team member, valued. And that's since that first solo chat with Svaruoverra. And so they were for me, still are. In fact, I never understood and kept asking Svaru why she spent so much time with me. And her typical answer always was, "You are one of us, nuff said." Even so, I never took it for granted, and my gratitude continues for all, Yasky, Athena, and even Mari, who I loved to hear stories about through them, about how joyful she was, loving to laugh, kind, until something happened along the way. What is that something? We don't know, and we may never find out. In a way, and in full honesty, and without wanting to sound like a martyr, I would even prefer to be wrong and end up in a Taygetan prison for treason, but know that the new team has turned out to bring nothing but positive events to humans on Earth and their future. That's all I really wish for the humanity to finally move in a positive direction without so much fiddling by the regressive side. I guess we will see. But starting to build that positive direction on untruths is, unfortunately, not a good step or sign, and only confirms our suspicions. Nevertheless, we march on, all sides involved, however we wish to proceed. Just hoping that it can be done with as much integrity as we all can embody. At least that's the intention on my side. Even in war, truth is the first casualty. Let it not be yours.